South Australia.
Chelsea, you've made a lot of people heading out this Easter long weekend very happy. Well done. Thank you. Well, it's now time for 9 News at 6.
Parliament raided. A Labor staffer and a senior prisons worker arrested. Tonight, they stand accused of child sex crimes. MP Fraser Ellis faces court charged with ripping off taxpayers. He's vowed to fight to clear his name. South Australia's COVID vaccination goes slow. Why we're so far behind and what the government will do about it. Why this Rex touchdown will deliver a tourism boost for South Australia and bring cheaper airfares too. And 4 games on some very big names. Hear from a young pro on his baptism of fire.
This is Adelaide's 9 News.
Good evening. State Parliament officers have been raided after it was revealed a senior staffer to an MP was charged with child sex abuse crimes. He was one of 2 influential South Australian public servants arrested by the AFP, accused of carrying out shocking crimes.
A child predator unmasked. 38-year-old Ben Waters, a senior policy advisor to one of our state's elected officials, now charged with horrendous child abuse crimes. He's a staffer to Labor MP Nat Cook. Police raiding an office in Parliament late yesterday. 9 News understands several devices were seized.
I'm completely sickened and devastated, and we all should feel betrayed by this person.
Early this morning, the staffer kicked out of the Labor Party.
As soon as I was made aware of the charges, I took immediate action and advised the Department of Treasury and Finance and requested that his employment be terminated immediately.
Also nabbed by the AFP was a 37-year-old who is a high-ranking corrections officer. We can't tell you his name because he's fighting in court to keep his identity secret. The accused in tears today at the possibility his name could be released. But what we can reveal is his appalling crimes. The court hearing that in this northern suburbs home, he set up a hidden camera, secretly filming children undressing and adults bathing. He's charged with indecent filming as well as producing and possessing child exploitation material. The pair's crimes exposed when the AFP was investigating a 37-year-old in Victoria linked to the 2 men. Detectives are now working through hours of vision to try and identify the children involved and remove them from harm.
I am absolutely distraught for children and families that have been involved in this, and my heart goes out to them.
Tonight, both men are behind bars. Waters has applied for home detention bail with a report now being prepared, and he'll be back in court next week, while his co-accused made no application for bail, and Brenton, he'll remain in custody until his next court appearance in November.
Thank you, Keziah. Police remain at the scene of a serious crash on the Fleurieu Peninsula where a driver rolled her car and crashed into a tree this afternoon after clipping an oncoming vehicle on the Inman Valley Road. The 37-year-old was cut free of the wreckage and airlifted to the Royal Adelaide Hospital. Her injuries are not life-threatening, but the road is still closed as police investigate. And a man is lucky to have escaped serious injury after falling asleep behind the wheel and crashing into trees. This Holden wagon veering off the Augusta Highway near Port Pirie early Monday morning. Police say the driver, a 39-year-old man from Mansfield Park, admitted to only sleeping for 2 hours in the previous 24. He's been reported and will face court. Yorke Peninsula MP Fraser Ellis is tonight vowing to clear his name of fraud charges laid as part of a probe by the corruption watchdog. The MP facing court for the first time today as the investigation into his parliamentary colleagues continues.
Walking into court for the first time accused of fraud, an upbeat first-term MP.
So how are you feeling going in today?
Wonderful. It's an exciting day. Looking forward to getting it started and getting my name cleared.
Fraser Ellis is charged with 23 counts of deception, accused of making 78 fraudulent claims for the country member's accommodation allowance, totalling more than $18,000. He insists he'll fight the charges laid by the Independent Commissioner against Corruption last month.
Plead not guilty, and I'm looking forward to clearing my name.
The first-term MP handed in his Liberal Party membership when he was charged, plunging the government into a minority. He now sits as an independent alongside Mount Gambier MP Troy Bell, who quit the party in 2017 when he was charged with fraud, and member for Waite Sam DeLuc, whose Liberal membership was suspended last year when he was charged with assault. The Premier remaining tight-lipped about Mr Ellis's future and today's court proceedings.
Oh look, it's a matter before the court, we'll wait for the outcome.
Lawyers for Mr Ellis revealed during today's brief hearing that discussions with the prosecution have already commenced. But if the matter does go to trial, it could drag on through next year's state election. The charges against Mr Ellis come as part of a probe into allowance claims that's already seen some of his parliamentary colleagues cleared. But the Independent Commissioner Against Corruption has said the investigation into other MPs is ongoing. Ella Duffy, 9 News.
South Australia's rollout of COVID-19 vaccines is set to ramp up significantly in the coming weeks. Oliver Haig is at the Adelaide Showgrounds, and Oliver, a mass vaccination clinic is about to open there.
Yeah, that's right, Brenton. In the next few weeks, South Australia's first mass vaccination clinic will open up here at the Adelaide Showgrounds, along with 3 others in regional SA, which will bring our total number of clinics online to 15. Now, the focus here at the Showgrounds will be on vaccinating frontline workers and boosting the 1B rollout, with the aim of inoculating 3,000 frontline workers each week. Now, this comes as damning new figures show South Australia has the slowest rollout in the country. It's reported just 35% of available doses have been used so far. Now, the finger is being pointed at the state government, given it's in charge of the logistics and vaccinating most of the population. But the Health Minister has hit back, saying these figures are misleading and the Commonwealth supplies have been erratic.
They've sent us 18,000 more doses than our population share. What I believe that is the best indicator of our success and our rollout is whether or not we have delivered according to our share of the national population.
Now, so far, 25,000 South Australians have been given the jab, our Health Minister adding that's on target. Brenton?
Thank you, Ollie. And some positive news out of Queensland. Just 2 more people have tested positive to COVID, both linked to known clusters. It comes as a record number of people turned out for testing. Bryce Heaton has the details.
Queensland's Premier calls it encouraging news, with a real chance the lockdown won't be extended over Easter. Confidence is growing after just 2 new cases of community transmission. One was a nurse at the PA hospital. She was vaccinated but was infected by a patient. The second was a housemate. What's also building hopes is the fact there were over 33,000 tests yesterday, and the fact the cases are linked and contact tracing appears to be working.
The fact that we do not have any unlinked community transmission in the southeast or in our state is absolutely encouraging news.
So those 2 clusters look like that they've all been worked through. All of those cases are linked, and we do not have any other cases out in the community anywhere in Queensland that are unlinked.
11 attended the Hens party at Byron Bay. 7 have tested positive. 4 so far are negative. The lockdown will be reviewed overnight. The decision will be announced tomorrow morning.
A Marden woman was terrified into her ensuite bathroom when a man stormed her home early this morning. The intruder demanding the keys to her car, but in the end only made off with an empty handbag.
Rebecca Massered got the shock of her life. A masked intruder entering her bedroom, waking her up early this morning.
It was scary. I thought he was going to hit me, but he didn't. So all he said was, "Give me your keys."
The mother of 2 handing over her handbag as the man demanded keys to her Toyota Corolla parked on Pitt Street outside.
I didn't say much. I just said, "Don't hurt me."
Threatened by the intruder, Rebecca backed into her ensuite bathroom, screaming out to her 17-year-old son to call police.
I heard her calling out to me. I didn't know what it was at that time.
Panicking, the man ran off.
I found the car keys on the floor and the contents of my handbag tipped out on the floor, and also I didn't take my purse either.
The handbag recovered on nearby Ware Avenue a short time later. Rebecca says her house keys were stolen 2 months ago and she may know the offender.
I think he just let himself in with a key. There's no sign of any break-in. We didn't hear anything.
Neighbours shocked by the incident.
Absolutely stunned that something like that could happen here.
I thought we lived in a safe suburb here, but apparently not.
I'd say you're a complete bastard for doing that. You're not going to get anything out of it anyway. You're going to get caught.
Police are investigating. Patrick Major, 9 News.
Travellers are the big winners from a price war being waged between the airlines tonight. Regional carrier Rex has begun selling $69 tickets between Adelaide and Melbourne. And it comes as a federal government travel subsidy is about to kick in.
The arrival of a new major player in domestic air travel. A Rex Airlines Boeing 737 touching down in Adelaide and already making a splash in the market typically dominated by Qantas, Virgin and Jetstar.
We will make a huge impact on the price of services between destinations.
Around 120 passengers aboard the first flight from Melbourne.
Well, we're interested in the $69 to Melbourne because I'm born in Melbourne.
Especially after COVID, people are desperate to get into the air again.
On today's flight, some extra special cargo. 7-year-old Emily Cook flying just for fun.
Emily had treatment last year for a brain tumour, and yeah, so it's just about us, having those family time.
I like seeing the clouds.
The airline, which has long serviced the country's regions, rerouting its business model to link capital cities and tourist hotspots. Economy tickets between Adelaide and Melbourne cost just $69 one way, with up to 23 kilograms of checked-in luggage. A price war declared. Passengers, the big winners.
In many cases, ticket prices have been halved as a result of our entry to the market.
Rex says this new venture into the domestic market will create around 400 new jobs within the network around the country, 80 of those here in South Australia. Our tourism sector set to benefit too, just as a federal government half-price flight scheme is about to kick in.
The average interstate visitor spends 3 times that of a South Australian. So these are important visitors.
It's always a good day when we can announce a new service, and particularly at such a challenging time for our aviation industry.
Twice daily flights begin tomorrow. Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
Adelaide's northern suburbs could be home to a new billion-dollar missile program to be launched by the federal government. The Prime Minister spruiking the state's defence credentials on a flying visit to Adelaide.
Taking to the skies. And if the Prime Minister has his way, missiles like these could soon be Australian-made.
This is all about ensuring that we have the capability to do what we need to do to protect and defend Australia's interests in our part of the world.
The federal government says it's pulling forward plans for a $1 billion locally built missile program. Defence contractor Raytheon, which today opened a new $50 million factory at Mawson Lakes, is keen for the work and the jobs that would come with it.
We present ourselves as the nation's most willing, determined and capable industrial partner in integrated air and missile defence.
I think they're very well positioned, but they're one of many, and they're a very outstanding organisation, and we're very pleased to see what they've been able to establish here.
Already there are more than 200 people working at this site, and that number will grow as more programs get underway, including work on the future frigate program, while questions remain about another project in the Osborne Yards, the submarine maintenance workforce. Still no decision if hundreds of jobs will stay here or go to WA.
They're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. What has been achieved here with the Collins-class full-cycle docking has been extraordinary.
The Prime Minister's whirlwind Adelaide visit also taking in the new Space Discovery Centre on North Terrace. It'll open to the public in coming weeks. Rory McLaren, 9 News.
And federal opposition leader Anthony Albanese has made his pitch for the future, pledging a cut in taxes on electric cars and spend $200 million to install 400 neighbourhood batteries around the country if successful at the next election.
Community battery which will lower their energy costs and also reduce their emissions. One of the things that Labor wants to do is to cut the costs of electric vehicles.
The Prime Minister says electric vehicle technology is good despite attacking Labor's plans leading into the 2019 poll. Warren Treadray joins us now with sport coming up a little bit later on. Now, Porter got a really big call actually to make on Todd Marshall.
Yeah, it's interesting, Brenton. Both he and Mitch Georgiadis have hardly played in the same team. As we say, Hammy, can you fit in that forward line? We'll hear from Travis Boak. He'll give us his thoughts on the selection ahead in sport, and exclusive, the Crows' star young defender on why he's here to stay.
Thanks, Traders. Talk to you soon. Coming up next, toxic drugs allegedly mixed in a blender. The woman accused of killing her boyfriend and Googling how to get away with it. Plus, an aerial salute marking 100 years of the Air Force. History in the sky above our capital.
I know what you see doesn't make sense, but I'm going to support him because I see him behind the scenes.
Finally,
We've spoken about moving, we've spoken about kids.
Melissa opens her heart.
I've heard things from Bryce's mouth.
Okay, like what?
You're going to be single at the end of this.
And betrayal.
Who said it?
I don't want to get into this.
I want to know who said it.
Okay. Jason.
Hits
What?
like a freight train.
Cannot believe that just happened.
Jason, just been thrown under the bus.
Tonight, 7:30 on 9.
At Telstra, our 7-day price match on a range of phones. Using Telstra Plus points and trading in selected phones can help make technology more affordable.
Right now with Mannix, you can get ducted reverse cycle heating and cooling for an average-sized home from as little as $6,990 fully installed. Smaller homes from just $5,990 fully installed.
Let life challenge you, not your skin. Olay Power Duo, for plumper and more radiant skin from day one. Feel less, face more.
Pollies can't help themselves. My super doesn't work out for me. I'll be working forever.
Well, we've worked all our lives for this place. We'd hate to have to sell it to fund our retirement.
That's for sure.
Authorised by B. Dean for Industry Super Australia, Melbourne.
9 News, brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
A woman charged with killing her grazier boyfriend at a property in New South Wales allegedly conducted hundreds of Google searches about how to get away with murder. Today, the Supreme Court heard that Natasha Beth Darcy allegedly used a toxic cocktail of drugs mixed in a blender to make his death look like a suicide.
She's a widow from Walker, a small country town where she's accused of murdering her farmer boyfriend, Matthew Dunbar. The 42-year-old was found dead on his multi-million-dollar Merino property, Pandora, in 2017, a property Natasha Beth Darcy stood to inherit and was allegedly willing to kill for. Coincidentally, Darcy's estranged husband, Colin Crossman, was one of the first paramedics on the scene after she reported Matthew dead. In his opening address to the jury, the prosecutor argued Matthew was drugged with a cocktail of drugs, including RAM sedatives mixed in a magic bullet, drugs sourced by Darcy from a vet under a false name. Matthew was later found in his bedroom with a plastic bag over his head, which was connected to a helium tank. The court heard Darcy conducted hundreds of internet searches in the months before Matthew's death, Googling 11 toxic wild plants that look like food, how to commit murder, 99 undetectable poisons and plastic bag suffocation. She also searched, can police see past web history, suicide helium and how long after suicide is there a crime scene. The jury also told she looked up, will helium show up in an autopsy, and days later, can police see deleted text messages. Darcy has pleaded not guilty to murder, telling police at the time she found Matthew dead and tried to resuscitate him. But today the court heard her defence that she planned and assisted Matthew to commit suicide. The prosecutor argued there was a plan implemented by her to sedate and kill him, adding Darcy knew of her partner's history with depression and she exploited this and killed him in the manner she did to make it look like a suicide. It's the Crown case that Darcy had a tendency to sedate her partners with the intent of causing harm for her own financial gain, once hitting estranged husband Colin over the head with a hammer and burning down the family home as he slept with a cocktail of drugs in his system after she'd fed him tacos. Emma Partridge, 9 News.
A judge has described Richard Pusey as probably the most hated man in the country as the Porsche driver awaits his punishment for his vile conduct on Melbourne's Eastern Freeway. Today, his lawyers pleaded for mercy, saying Pusey should be released at his next court hearing.
The families of the Eastern Freeway police officers now know that in their loved one's final moments, Richard Pusey refused to help. Instead, he filmed them for 3 minutes, zooming in and out while commenting, "Absolutely amazing. I think everyone got cleaned up. Lucky I went and had a piss. I guess I will be getting a Uber home. That is justice." One witness asked Pusey to hold up a blanket to protect the victim's dignity, but the Porsche driver just kept recording, later telling detectives that he was in shock. "That's how comes out of my head. I'm highly offensive." Pusey had been pulled over for speeding at 149 kilometres an hour. The 4 officers were discussing impounding his luxury vehicle when truck driver Mahinder Singh veered into the emergency lane. The court heard Richard Pusey has a severe mental illness and he was bullied as a child because of his name. His lawyers say he's a man deserving of sympathy and mercy when it comes to his sentence. They want him released immediately on a community corrections order, claiming the 42-year-old has already been punished because of publicity. Judge Trevor Rage responded, "He's probably the most hated man in Australia." Pusey will be sentenced on April 28. Eliza Rugg, 9 News.
More than 60 aircraft took to the skies in Canberra today to mark 100 years of the Royal Australian Air Force. The Queen also paid tribute from afar in a stirring ceremony marking a centenary of sacrifice and service.
A spectacular show of might streaking a crisp Canberra sky. In formation, a parade of historic warbirds and advanced fighter jets. Super Hornets, F-35s, Hudson bombers, Globemasters and the piece de resistance, a 10-minute showcase of roulettes, a jaw-dropping display of precision aerobatics, barrel rolls, corkscrews, each aircraft flying just 3 metres apart. The nation's capital was a centrepiece of the Royal Australian Air Force celebration, commemorating 100 years of heroism and courage under fire.
It is the people, not the equipment, that have built the Royal Australian Air Force.
To mark the anniversary, Governor-General David Hurley presented a new Queen's colour.
Over the last century, during times of war and in more recent conflicts, the Royal Australian Air Force has demonstrated its capability, adaptability and reliability in helping to keep us safe.
The ceremonial flag unfurled before the RAF's top brass on the banks of Lake Burley Griffin. In Her Majesty's absence,
3 cheers to Her Most Gracious Majesty. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Before a fly past for the royal salute, a ceremony fit for the men and women who protect and defend our freedom, then, now and always. Sophie Walsh, 9 News.
And our place in the long history of the Royal Australian Air Force was acknowledged with a flyover across the War Memorial on North Terrace, followed by a commemorative service attended by South Australia's Governor and RAAF personnel, both past and present. A Poseidon search and surveillance jet and a PC-21 training aircraft took off from the Edinburgh Air Base, crossing Adelaide before visiting other locations, including Woomera, still the site of defence testing. Well, it's been a warm and dry end to March and temperatures are set to soar further as we head into April. Chelsea Carey, there's plenty of sunshine in store for Easter.
Absolutely, Brenton. And today we hit a top of 28 degrees here in the city. Right now it is still sitting on about 27. It's going to be a balmy evening, staying above 17 degrees. Now tomorrow, warm winds will help push up temperatures even further. So we have a sunny 31 degrees on the way. And it will be a hot start to the Easter long weekend before a change brings milder conditions on Sunday. But I'll have everything you need to know just a little later.
Sounds amazing. Thanks so much, Chelsea. Coming up next, finally allowed out and all fired up, a violent end to a COVID lockdown. Plus your first look at what our Olympic team will wear at the Tokyo Games.
Exploding with life itself.
Oh, that's so cool.
Is back.
Each team will be given their own snow globe. Wow, how good is this?
To bowl Australia over.
Colors of the rainbow.
Dive
So pretty in the sky.
into the wonderful world.
We're on the cusp of something
What
amazing.
a wonderful world.
Of Lego Masters.
Let me be witty, let me be so ditty in every state and city. How about let you do a double take? I don't need your money, I don't need your credit. I'm a superwoman, I let you watch me fade.
For some reason, we have come to believe that there are those born confident. But confidence is something I earn. And having fresh, healthy food delivered by my muscle chef makes all the difference.
We've turned Mondays into something to make a song and dance about. With Meerkat Mondays! Now you can win prizes every week with Compare the Market. So please download the app. Symbols up!
For me, the best way to get the perfect Aussie Easter pork roast is from Coles.
Coles Australian pork leg roast boneless down to just $8.50 a kilo in store and online.
Coles, value the Australia way.
How do you make anything taste like Australia? Well, I'll tell you. You squeeze a bit of this on a little bit of that. In your spag, on your snack, on your favourite snack. There are no rules. It's really quite easy. Make anything taste like Australia with new Vegemite Squeezy.
The Good Guys Easter Doorbuster deals are on now. $300 off this Acer laptop, this DeLonghi coffee machine $849, 29% off this Uniden security camera pack. Plus Thursday only get 10% off a huge range across the store. Easter Doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
Germany is suspending the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine for people under the age of 60 over blood clot fears. The medicine regulator found 31 cases of a rare blood clot among the nearly 2.7 million people who'd received doses. AstraZeneca says international regulators have established that the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the risks. It was an emotional day of testimony in the trial of Derek Chauvin. The prosecution called on a string of witnesses, including a mixed martial arts fighter who called the police and an off-duty first responder who said she was blocked from offering assistance.
Feel free to just take a minute.
A frustrated firefighter who just wanted to help.
Tell me what his pulse is right now.
Genevieve Clara Hansen was off duty and on a walk when she found herself on the scene of George Floyd's arrest. She pleaded with officers to provide medical assistance.
Why weren't you able to do any of that?
Because the officers didn't let me in to the scene.
Hansen's chilling testimony was one of many today. MMA fighter Donald Williams was just metres away from officers when he decided to call the police on the police.
And why did you do that?
Because I believe I witnessed a murder.
He too was overcome with emotion, listening back to his call to emergency services.
Murderers, bro. Yeah, murderers.
A number of witnesses who could not be identified provided audio testimony, including a 9-year-old who heard paramedics tell Chauvin to get off George Floyd, but he did not follow their instructions.
How did it affect you?
I was sad and kind of mad.
And tell us, why were you sad and mad?
Because it felt like he was stopping his breathing and it is kind of like hurting him.
The court also heard from her cousin, the woman who filmed the viral clip that sparked a mass movement. Darnella Frazier explaining to the court why she decided to film that video.
Because I slowly knew that if he were to be held down much longer, he wouldn't live.
She stays up at night, apologising to George Floyd for not doing more to save his life. In the United States, Alison Petrowski, 9 News.
A motorcade in honour of US police officer Eric Talley has passed through the streets of Colorado. Hundreds of people paid their respects to the father of 7, who was remembered as a brave man who loved family more than anything. Officer Talley was one of 10 people killed when a gunman opened fire inside a grocery store in Boulder. The Biden administration has finally allowed journalists inside its main border facility for migrant children, which is currently at 1,600% capacity. More than 4,000 migrants are crammed into pods, sleeping on mats on the ground. The US Border Patrol says they've encountered an average of 5,000 undocumented immigrants a day over the past month. The lifting of England's stay-at-home order has led to wild scenes in the city of Nottingham, where brawls broke out in a park. The gathering of hundreds was a clear breach of the new regulations, which allow people to meet outdoors, but only in groups no larger than 6 people. Rule breakers were also busted in Birmingham, with police releasing thermal images of an illegal rave beneath the motorway bridge. Australia's athletes will wear green and gold on their sleeves and the boxing kangaroo on the soles of their shoes at the Tokyo Games. The uniforms were unveiled today for an Olympics many believe won't go ahead.
Uniforms unveiled under the threat of rain for an Olympics going ahead under the threat of COVID.
It's certainly going to put an extra step in our athletes' training from today onwards when they see this uniform and know that it's waiting for them when they get to Tokyo.
480 athletes will compete in green and gold, the first race getting vaccinations before July.
They're vaccinating doctors and everything, some of the most important people in society. Then, mate, I'm sweet to get the jab.
Yes, we want to be vaccinated, of course, but if we had to go not vaccinated, then the Games will go on.
For the first time, uniforms include an Indigenous piece, featuring 52 footsteps of the 52 Indigenous athletes to compete in the Olympics.
And then being able to follow their footsteps and, make them proud and then make my family and my culture back home proud, it's just an honour to wear.
Australian uniforms have long courted controversy, from animals and akubras in Los Angeles to Mambo designs in Sydney. This time around, some features are hidden from view.
Inside our shoe, we got a little boxing kangaroo, so you can. So every time we slip it on, we got a little bit of BK with these boxing gloves to encourage us as we walk out the door.
The one uniform missing is that of the opening ceremony. That will be released in May, but it's still not clear how many athletes, if any at all, will march.
We know already that we're going to be in a pretty tight bubble, but what the opening ceremony looks like, we're still to find out.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
He may still be banned from social media, but Donald Trump has found a new platform for self-expression, a website listing his presidential achievements, claiming he created the most extraordinary moment in political history and that he dethroned political dynasties. 45office.com will keep his supporters in touch with his America First plans. It's the government department responsible for safeguarding America's atomic weapons. So when this gibberish was posted on the US Strategic Command's Twitter account, there were fears a nuclear code had been leaked. It turns out it was the work of a child. The social media manager had left the page unattended for a moment. Interpol agents have tracked down a mafia fugitive who'd been hiding in the Dominican Republic by recognising his tattoos in cooking videos he'd posted to YouTube. The 53-year-old man was arrested close to the capital, Santo Domingo, after being in the country for more than 5 years. In 2014, an arrest warrant was issued for him over drug trafficking. Coming up next in 9's News, new help for children facing a lifelong health battle. Plus, we answer the question everyone's asked: air fryers, are they worth the hype?
Hi.
Hi. Trouble
Edie's father turned up on the doorstep. Oh, here we go.
finally comes knocking.
We could do this. If you want to, you could keep it.
Hey, Grace, Jeremy's taking Edie.
This is the night.
Where is he now?
I'm gonna kill him.
That delivers
He's taking her.
a roller coaster shock straight to the heart. Tonight on 9.
The police can't help themselves. My super doesn't work out for me. I'll be working forever.
Well, we've worked all our lives for this place. We'd hate to have to sell it to fund our retirement.
That's for sure.
Authorised by B. Dean for Industry Super Australia, Melbourne.
Quit your way in May. Yeah, you can be smoke-free in so many ways. If the cravings kick in, give yoga a spin. When you start feeling low, give pickles a go. To get off the smokes, stick up some notes. Put the durries away for the month of May.
This May, join in and find your way to be smoke-free. To register and get helpful tips and support, visit quityourwayinmay.com.au.
Quit your way in May.
Domino's Everyday Value range is now 3 times as good because it's now in 3 sizes, starting from an unbelievable $3. All your favourite value range recipes now from just $3. Domino's all-new value range. Bring it in.
It's on. Now get game ready at Sports Power. Choose from all the big brands for boots, balls and protective gear. Adidas, Predator and X-Ghosted, Nike, Mercurial and Tiempo, Asics, Lethal, Tigreor and Menace, as well as new Puma. And check out our range of women's and juniors specific boots. Play like the pros with balls from Sharon, Steeden and Gilbert and stay protected from head to toe. So before you hit the field, go and see your local expert. Find them today at sportspower.com.au.
We're your local experts. Sports Power.
Are you missing live motorsport action? What are you waiting for? The supercars are back at the Ben Motorsport Park with the OTR Super Sprint. Jam-packed with motorsport, carnival rides, karting, live music, fireworks and more. Single-day passes start from only $25. Tickets at theben.com.au.
Travel the whole world of Australia in the new Nissan Navara from $49,490 drive away.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Jump into Easter and get your barbecue sizzling with Woolworths responsibly sourced seafood like Tasmanian Atlantic salmon, barramundi and Aussie tiger prawns to help support the future of Australian seafood.
That's why I pick Woolies.
The lingering effects of COVID are becoming clearer. A landmark study of Australian patients has found 1 in 3 are still battling symptoms 8 months after contracting the virus. 1 in 5 reported fatigue, shortness of breath and tightness in the chest. The study by the Kirby Institute and St Vincent's Hospital found women and those who received hospital treatment had an increased risk of developing so-called long COVID. They're usually considered the lucky ones, the tiny brave kids who beat cancer. But for some, the real fight starts when they're disease-free and complications arise. Now, world first guidelines are on the way to ensure care continues long after families leave hospital.
8-year-old Fred Corbett has had the toughest start in life, but you wouldn't know it.
Because it's just a bit nervous being on TV.
His preschool years were spent fighting cancer.
He'd had a CT scan and they said there's a mass in his brain.
Fred needed surgery and chemotherapy. During that time, he had to relearn how to walk, eat and swallow.
A little bite, that's it.
Then Fred relapsed and high-dose radiotherapy followed.
They said this is the last roll of the dice.
It worked, but there are lingering effects.
Can have difficulty with learning to read or write, with their literacy, and it plays out in friendships and social media.
Up to 80% of kids who've suffered brain cancer or leukemia experience these problems. While Fred is receiving ongoing speech therapy,
Chips and dip. Chips and dip.
Others fly under the radar with no support.
It's so important, but it's so hard to get and you have to fight for it.
The launch of new national guidelines include education, timely intervention and long-term monitoring of speech and swallowing difficulties.
We want to maximise their potential and we want to direct any future funding to these measures which assist them.
Brain cancer and leukemia account for about 60% of childhood cancers in Australia. Incidence rates continue to rise, but advances in medical care and treatment have meant more kids are surviving. Fred proudly shows off his school award and wants to one day be a space mechanic.
Building a space garbage truck.
Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
What a hero. Kitchen gadgets can often make our busy lives much easier when it comes to making meals for the family. CanStar Blue has put the most popular of the lot to the test to see if they really are worth all the hype.
Not too long ago, this was the kitchen appliance that was king. After that came the trusty bread makers. Then the next must-have kitchen gadget was the multi-cooker, soon followed by the countless juicers. And today, the two hottest kitchen appliances are the slow cooker versus the air fryer.
They're certainly very trendy gadgets at the moment.
It cooks the dinner, it cooks the roast veggies. It'll even cook the cake.
A new survey conducted by CanStar Blue has crunched the numbers, determining if these much-loved kitchen gadgets really are worth all the hype, based on affordability, convenience, and if they're easy to use.
Design as well, you know, do you want it to be quite aesthetically pleasing if you're going to leave it on your bench? And also, which is a big one, is functions and features.
Based on the feedback of almost 2,000 people, CanStar Blue found 55% would recommend buying a slow cooker to their friends and family, compared to 67% of those with an air fryer. 1/5 admit to cooking more since purchasing their slow cooker, while more than half with an air fryer are using them weekly.
Their prices also not setting them apart by much. The average spend for a slow cooker, $106 compared to $156 for an air fryer. The good news is, though, you can snap up either, no matter your budget.
A lot of the models that you can get are for under $100, which is great value for an appliance that's not going to just be sitting in your cupboard gathering dust.
Either one proving perfect for the winter months ahead, or for some, any day of the year.
It's got the queen spot on the bench. It doesn't go in a cupboard. No one puts that baby in a cupboard.
At least until the next new and hot gadget comes along. Jennifer Martinez, 9 News.
Well, this is pretty impressive. More than 6 million Lego bricks have been assembled to plunge Melbourne back to prehistoric times as part of a special exhibit. It's taken 13,000 hours to build the Jurassic World experience at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. The highlight, a 3.4 metre tall Tyrannosaurus Rex on display until the end of May. Amazing stuff. The Easter Bunny has arrived a few days early for the kids at the Women's and Children's Hospital, bouncing through the wards this morning and bringing sweet treats and smiles to the sick boys and girls. Everyone's favourite rabbit was joined by the clown doctors, who dispensed their own special medicine, a good dose of laughter and music, all making sure those spending Easter on the sick list don't miss out. Wonderful stuff. Good to see. Warren Treadray's now back with sport. Now, Treaders Power have quite the selection headache on their hands.
Yeah, especially when you head west, Brenton. You want to use your pace, but we'll put that question. It's amazing. Can they afford another tall forward in their forward line? We'll ask Travis Boak that question, and he'll get his assessment straight after the break. Also, exclusive, why the Crows' giant-killing defender is thriving at West Lakes.
The ugly price of progress.
What they doing to us?
These homes will be bulldozed to make way for a train station.
You're playing with people's lives, it's just not another square box on the map.
Now the fight to protect their castles.
I said over my dead body.
A current affair tonight.
Get your woolies worth for Easter with 20-pack Cadbury Easter egg crate, 340 grams. Now just $7 each. Save $2.
That's why I pick Woolies.
We all seek different in our own ways, because different reflects who you are, who you want to be. And nowhere lets you be who you are and find what you seek like the Northern Territory. So if you seek different, this is the holiday for you. The Northern Territory. Different in every sense.
Green dreams, it seems, are coming true. Bearing in mind it takes a toll. Descend the rabbit hole and hold on to your soul. I got a secret, yeah, I've been reaching up to the sky. I got the power now.
Climb a tower and be a princess and get shot at with arrows, wizards throwing spell packets. It's an amazing feeling. It's euphoric.
There are so many ways we can live better. Search Medibank Live Better to find yours.
South Australia's best odds to become an instant millionaire is back. The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover, and we've got 2 to give away. Yes, 2 lucky grand prize winners will become instant millionaires their way. So, will you choose the Metricon home and land package and build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? It's up to you. There's more. Give your next holiday a makeover with the Super Early Bird Prize. A trip for 2 around the world, flying business class, of course. Or take home $25,000 in cash. And our early bird winner? They'll drive away in a brand new Mercedes-Benz EQC. Every ticket sold helps us make a life-changing difference for South Australians living with multiple sclerosis. So go on, with the best odds in the state to win big, which millionaire makeover will you choose? The last lottery sold out early, so don't delay. Get your tickets at msgamechanger.com.au.
The Good Guys Easter Doorbuster deals are on now. 18% off this Bosch washer, 14% off this Hitachi TV, this Haier dishwasher only $4.99. Plus Thursday only get 10% off a huge range across the store. Easter Doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
Introducing free MasterChef cookware from Coles. For every $20 you spend in one transaction, scan your Flybuys card to earn 1 MasterChef cookware credit.
That's the way to cook like a MasterChef. Coles. Value the Australian way.
The go-home factor, which has cursed West Lakes for a decade, could be a thing of the past if Jordan Bartz is any indication. The promising young defender telling 9 News exclusively that he's here for the long haul.
Jordan Bartz's last 2 opponents have more Coleman medals between them than he's played AFL games.
Yeah, it did come very quick. Didn't get eased in too much, I don't think. But yeah, as I said, like the challenge was there for me, and they gave it to me. So yeah, as I said, I was up for it, and yeah, willing to give it my all.
The 21-year-old drawing high praise for keeping Tom Hawkins to just 2 goals, but for the humble kid from Shepparton in country Victoria, it was like any other week.
It's just another footy game for me, and didn't dwell on it too much, and I just went out there and played my role.
Buddy Franklin, a little more overwhelming.
I was definitely a bit starstruck, standing next to him, playing on him.
A 3-goal return from the superstar, no shame for Butts, who says he's benefited from Daniel Talia's delayed start to the season.
Throughout the week, he always gives me feedback and also tips on matchups for the weekend, and he's been very good for my development and prepares me well for the week. So he's a good mentor to have.
His next opponent, Ben King, trained behind closed doors with the Suns this morning.
Not too old, so a bit of a young fella, probably quicker. Seems very athletic and moves well. So yeah, just probably got to be on my toes and yeah, just be ready for those quick entries.
Fresh off signing a 2-year extension, Butts, who lives with fellow young Victorians Will Hamill and Lockie Scholl, says he never explored a move home.
Yeah, pretty stoked to sign on. Yeah, just gives me a lot of confidence for the rest of the year now, just to keep growing and keep getting better.
Josh Money, 9 News.
And the Crows might not be playing on Good Friday again if North Melbourne coach David Noble has his way. He wants the day to be reserved exclusively for the Kangaroos. While former Crow Brad Crouch says he wants to repay the Saints, having served a 2-game ban for being caught in possession of drugs.
St Kilda were the most, I guess in terms of who I was talking to, they were the most supportive out of all the clubs and really good about the whole conversation we had about it. Yeah, James Gallagher, this manager, was really good. Rats was really good.
Crouch expected to make his Saints debut on Saturday against the Bombers. Port star Travis Boak says he's certain the Power can play even better with Todd Marshall and Mitch Georgiadis in the same attack. A fit again, Marshall and Connor Rozee giving selectors at Alberton plenty to consider.
They've only played in the same side twice before, but Travis Boak believes it's time to reunite Todd Marshall and Mitch Georgiadis.
Yeah, I have no doubt that we can play both in our side. I've said it before, and I think both those forwards aren't your typical tall forwards. They can play small and tall, and certainly both of them can get up the ground and run.
Only once before have the 2 young forwards played with spearhead Charlie Dixon, curiously resulting in a 29-point loss at home to St Kilda. More certain is the addition of speed demon Connor Rozee.
It's great for him that it's healed up really quick, and we can't wait to have him back in the side, and he's super excited to get out there and part of a side that's enjoying our footy.
The return of Sam Powell-Pepper, now one of the last pieces of the power puzzle. Boak still has breakfast with his former housemate once a week and says his return to Alberton is imminent.
Yeah, we've been catching up a fair bit, and he's progressed really well and seems to be in a really good headspace, which is what we're most pleased about and happy for him that he's been able to sort of work through some stuff and hopefully not too far away now.
West Coast is set to welcome back skipper Luke Shuey from a hamstring injury. The coach not holding back in his praise for the power.
If they're not number one, they're pretty close. So their brand stands up. It's been really strong for a long time now, and they've got good kids coming through. So massive challenge again this week. Doesn't stop.
Tom Wren, 9 News.
New Adelaide United signing one day is set for his first red start, replacing the injured Harvey Lopez tomorrow night in Gosford. Coach Carl Viet declaring his side will chase all 3 points against the Mariners that would take them to the top of the A-League ladder.
And you can see that the way that they play now. They're more confident on the ball, and we keep the ball a lot longer than what we were earlier, and that's a key thing that we need to do with the players that we have. The longer that we have the ball, the more opportunities we're going to create.
Victory against the Mariners would equal a club record of 7 straight wins. Ash Barty's into the semi-finals in Miami after a tough 3-set win over Arena Sabalenka. Barty wrapping it up 6-3 in the decider.
I think that was certainly the best level I've played for a long time, and especially over a sustained period.
She'll meet Evina Svitolina in the semis. Victory in that match will ensure she retains the #1 ranking. And NASCARs have turned back the clock, racing on dirt for the first time in 50 years. The traditional concrete surface in Bristol, Tennessee, covered in clay to create a temporary dirt track. The challenging surface testing the visibility and control of drivers before Joey Logano came out on top. The event poised to become a regular fixture. Wouldn't want to be cleaning their suits, though.
Just like the old Wavell Showground.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Awesome. Good on you, traders. Well, finance now. The share market and Australian dollar posted good gains today. Here's business reporter Chris Kohler.
The share market rose a solid 0.7% today, its best session in 2 weeks. Infrastructure companies like Transurban and Sydney Airport were particularly strong, while Telstra came off the boil after a solid run. Harvey Norman shares fell sharply as it now trades without the benefit of its dividend. The Australian dollar was mostly higher, flat against the US dollar at 76 US cents and just shy of 65 euro cents and 55.4 British pence. And today marks the last day of the quarter. Over the 3 months, the Australian share market is up a pretty healthy 2.4%.
Thank you, Chris. Heading up towards Easter, Chelsea Carey has the weather outlook next. First, though, here's the list of tomorrow's speed cameras.
Tune into the 5AA Breakfast Show tomorrow from 6 a.m. for breaking news, weather and traffic in and around Adelaide.
Tomorrow it's Easter Eve, and holiday plans for hundreds of thousands of Aussies are up in the air. We'll bring you the absolute latest.
And how these footy bubbles will work. We hear from the NRL and the AFL. See you from 5:30.
The new Lexus Crafted Edition SUVs come with incredible features, such as striking black accents, a breathtaking moonroof, and exclusive benefits like valet parking and the freedom to borrow a different Lexus when you need it. That's because right now, they come with a complimentary upgrade to our Encore Platinum Owner Benefits program. Ends April 30.
Bring in your Easter project plan and we'll make it happen.
4 litre Taubman's Ultimate Enamel, only $85. All-purpose paintbrush, just $14.38.
Where you find a competitor's lower price on the same stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
It's our massive Easter sale, and you've only got 3 days to save. Sofa bed with inbuilt USB and power, $5.99. Velvet 3 and 2 seater, $9.99. Lift up electric recliner, $3.99. Industrial dining package, $9.99. Easter Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Designer queen bed, $3.99. Bamboo latex pillow top, $4.99. And quilts, all sizes, $29. Hop into Haggleco or shop online. Haggleco!
I just used my Ryobi drill.
When I felt something wrong, I smoothed it down with the sand.
upcycled bookcase made by One Plus Holly. Make your long weekend home essentials kit $169, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Ryobi. At Drake Supermarkets, we've got ingredients for Treat the Kids Days with Peter's Drumsticks 24-pack $15.95. And for party days with Cadbury favourites below half price. Drake Supermarkets.
Ingredients for every day.
There's an unspoken promise to care for your pet. At Pet Barn, we'll help you keep it every day. With same-day delivery and an instant price match promise. Visit Pet Barn today.
What's going on?
eBay Tuesdays. Heaps of deals every Tuesday.
How are those reports going?
On things like noise-cancelling headphones.
Is that ham? We should get sushi, Carol.
What was that, Greg? They're yelling.
For some reason, we have come to believe that there are those born confident. But confidence is something I earn. And having fresh, healthy food delivered by my muscle chef makes all the difference.
Little hot cross bun, beloved bun of mine.
What are you singing?
Well, you know Christmas carols. Easter carols.
Good point.
Dashing through the dough. No.
Baker's Delight. Nice and simple.
Well, it's a beautiful night here in the city, quite calm and still sitting on around 26 degrees. Our top today was at 28. Warm and sunny right across the suburbs, hottest out in the north, reaching 31 at Mawson Lakes, 30 at Elizabeth. It's been in the mid-20s along the coast and through the hills. It's been hot through our country towns and barely a cloud in the sky, generally quite calm as well, reaching 30 degrees in the Clare Valley, 33 at Ceduna and a warm night in Port Augusta before that top of 32 this afternoon. It was another very foggy start for those in the lower southeast. In fact, fog reduced visibility to just metres at Mount Gambier this morning, but it did eventually clear, leaving a sunny day and a top of 29 degrees. Naracoorte reached 30 after a very chilly start, and it's been a lovely day on Hindmarsh Island with a sunny 28. Around the country, looking hot in Perth and Broome tomorrow. A shower or two in store for Brisbane, a couple of showers up in Cairns as well. Sydney will possibly see just a light sprinkle, but mostly fine. And in Canberra, blue skies and a top of 25 on the way. Now back home, well, it's going to be a mild night, followed by a hot and dry day across the north and west, up to 34 at Port Augusta, 33 at Ceduna, 31 at Clare and Whyalla. Now temperatures well above average across the south, really looking quite summery. A sunny top of 34 for Murray Bridge, 32 at Keith and Naracoorte. And if you're heading to Victor Harbour, well, it will be a little fresher there. Expect blue skies and 29. Looking lovely out on local waters tomorrow. Very calm for boaties. East to northeasterly winds becoming south to southwesterly in the afternoon. Seas below half a metre. Across Adelaide, plenty of warm sunshine and just a nice light breeze. Heading for a top of 31 at Elizabeth and Golden Grove. And will be very nice by the beach, 30 at Glenelg. In the city, a sunny top of 31 on the way, following that very warm night, staying above 17 degrees. Now, Good Friday, very warm, 33 degrees the top. Then warm into Saturday, heading for a top of 32 degrees. Then we're going to feel this shallow change roll through, and that's just going to take the edge off temperatures for the rest of the long weekend. So 28 on Sunday, 26 on Monday. So Brenton, this is really just a lovely looking forecast for holiday makers and quite warm for the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, you really couldn't ask for anything better. The chocolate might even melt. Thank you, Chelsea. That was all from the 9 News team for this Wednesday. Great to have you along. A current affair follows with further updates a little later this evening. Bye for now.